All right, let's get into it. Today we're taking a look at a really strange, kind of unsettling corner of the internet. It's a place where the children's characters we all know and love get these bizarre, dark makeovers.
You know the feeling, right? Maybe you've handed your phone to a kid and you glance over and, yeah, that's their favorite cartoon character, but something is just off. The story makes no sense, it might even be a little violent. Well, if you felt that, you are definitely not alone.
It all seems to start with something so innocent. But you add a couple words, like evil twin, and suddenly you're tumbling down this rabbit hole of really low-quality, honestly disturbing videos that are all dressed up like they're for kids. So what makes these things so uniquely creepy? To figure that out, we actually have to go way back and look at our age-old fascination with the evil twin.
Okay, so let's dig into the whole doppelganger thing. Because this isn't some new YouTube trend. Nope. Our obsession with our own dark doubles, that goes back for centuries.
The word itself, doppelganger, it's German, and it literally means double goer. It's this idea of an uncanny copy of a living person. And for storytellers, it's been a go-to tool forever, you know? A perfect way to build suspense and explore the darker, hidden parts of who we are.
And, I mean, look at this timeline. It just shows how deep this obsession runs. We're talking 18th century Gothic novels, Edgar Allan Poe, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, all the way up to modern movies like Black Swan and even TikTok filters. We've always used the doppelganger to work through our own inner conflicts and our deepest fears.
But why? What's the actual point of these monsters, especially when they show up in stories for kids? Well, it turns out they actually have a really important job to do.
The specific feeling these stories tap into is what Sigmund Freud famously called the uncanny. It's not just regular scariness. It's that specific, chilling feeling you get when something super familiar suddenly becomes strange and unsettling, like something that was supposed to stay hidden has just surfaced.
Now, what's so cool about this, what this quote is really getting at, is that these uncanny doubles are never just random monsters. No, they're reflections. They represent some kind of repressed fantasy or anxiety that the main character and, us, the reader, is dealing with.
So, and this is the absolute key. In good children's stories, these monsters have a message. Just think about the other mother from Coraline. She is the ultimate uncanny doppelganger, right? She's this twisted, button-eyed version of Coraline's real mom who shows the very real danger of getting everything you think you want. These stories are teaching tools. They teach kids about values and, importantly, how to face their own fears.
And this whole idea of purposeful monsters, it links up perfectly with the psychology of how kids play. Because it turns out, kids naturally go looking for these dark themes all on their own.
Researchers have a name for it, dark play. It's when kids play with themes of fear, monsters, risk. And listen, while it might look a little worrying to us adults, it's actually a completely healthy, totally necessary way for kids to test out big emotions in a safe space and get a sense of control in a world that can feel pretty scary. So how does that work exactly? Well, kids build their own sense of identity by creating these really simple binaries. To understand this is me, they have to figure out what is not me. They need an other, a not self, to even begin building their own story of who they are.
And you can see it right here, in action. It's fascinating. In a video game, Cody's the hero, supersonic, fighting the bad guy, Dr. Eggman. Olivier literally builds a Lego me and a criminal Lego me. It's all about that good guy versus bad guy dynamic. It's how they figure out their place in the world.
Okay, so on one hand, we have these meaningful monsters and stories and this healthy dark play that kids do. But this is where it all goes wrong online. This is where we fall into what you could call YouTube's uncanny valley.
And this is the central question, isn't it? What happens when that bad guy, that other, isn't a carefully created character with a purpose, but is just a random, nonsensical mess of keywords all stitched together just to catch a kid's eye?
Well, what happens is weird YouTube. This is where you find those knockoff Peppa Pigs in just the most bizarre and sometimes violent situations, like drinking bleach or getting run over. It has the shape of a kid's cartoon, but it's totally empty inside. No story, no message, no point at all. It's what the writer James Bridle perfectly calls cultural junk food.
And as Bridle points out here, we're not just talking about a couple of people making weird videos. This is a massive system, churning out content that feels like it wasn't even made for human children, but for YouTube's algorithm.
So who is the real villain of this story? Well, it's not some person sitting in a dark room. It's the very system that's designed from the ground up just to keep us watching.
I mean, just try to wrap your head around the scale of this. 400 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every single minute. There's no way humans could ever moderate all of that. It's impossible. And that forces these platforms to rely on automated systems. And that is where the nightmare begins.
So here's how that vicious cycle works. Step 1, a kid watches a real Peppa Pig video. Then, the algorithm serves up a knockoff that has similar tags. Now that knockoff uses bright colors and shocking things to keep the kid's eyes glued to the screen. And here's the kicker. That long watch time tells the algorithm, hey, this is a good video. So it gets recommended more and more, and the people making this junk are rewarded for it.
So when you put them side by side, the difference is just staggering. The purposeful monster from a good story helps a child process fear. It teaches them about values. But this algorithmic doppelganger, it's just a hollow shell. It's a monster with absolutely no message, designed only to be watched. It doesn't help kids with their fears. It just creates new, meaningless ones.
And what it all comes down to is this: a system that is built only for engagement, for maximizing watch time above all else, ends up stripping all of the meaning and purpose from our oldest and most important teaching tool, storytelling. And all that's left is this distorted reflection that serves the machine, not the child. And that leaves us with a really big, really important question as we move deeper into this automated world. Our stories have always been what makes us who we are. But if we start outsourcing the job of storyteller to algorithms that don't understand meaning, who or what is going to be shaping the next generation?